Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the KimUnity Soulutions Podcast, where we inspire employees and organizations to improve their workplace relationships and environments. We do that by sharing real life experiences that produce practical and unifying solutions. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful week. I know I did. Today, we're going to be talking about personal growth. I've been doing a lot of that. It seems like I'm always drawn to that. I love learning new things and growing and expanding my knowledge. So today we're going to be talking about personal growth, basically self-improvement. Okay, so let's get into it. So when I look up personal growth, it actually came up as self-improvement in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. And basically what it says is the act or process of improving oneself by one's own actions. So no one can make you do it. Personal growth has to be something that comes from within. So are you growing? How do you know when you're growing? Like what do you have to do in order to grow? These are things that we're going to be talking about today. I also looked it up and it says it's an intentional and continuous process of self-improvement, self-awareness, and self-development. So you basically have to know where you are. You basically have to know your current status. So that's going to take some reflection, some introspection. Where are you and what are the areas that you believe you need to be improved upon? So when I looked it up, there are basically 5 different areas of personal growth. I actually saw one article where it said 6, but we'll get into that later. But the 5 are mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and social. Yes, and social. Now the 6th one that I found, it said professional, but when I think about it, professional growth is like a combination of the other areas. So that's mental, that's your knowledge, that's social, right? So we'll put that 6th one to the side for now. But how do you achieve personal growth? Why would you want personal growth? Well, I wanted it because I always want to do better. I always want to be better. I've always wanted to work on my communication skills. So let's take public speaking, for example. That's something, so I can write very well. Like I pride myself. I know pride is not a good thing, but I pride myself on my writing, right? I can write very well. When it comes to speaking, writing exceeds my speaking. And so I knew that that's something that I sought within and said, okay, this is an area that I need to work on. Right? So that's the first thing, is being aware. Looking within, being aware, and then, okay, what am I going to do about it? So now I need to set a goal. What kind of corrective action should I be taking? What is it that you need to be working on? Have you even thought about it? Is this something that you regularly do? Have you never thought about it? Has it never crossed your mind? You have to dig within, then you have to identify it. Then you have to plan for it. You have to set some kind of goal. And then you have to do it. So like I was saying with my public speaking, okay, I knew I needed to work on it. And this podcast right here, this is another way of me working on it. But then it's like, okay, what else can I do? I can read better. I can maybe go out and network. That will improve my speech by continuously going out and doing it. You can join Toastmasters. Okay, so that's like the plan. Then you want to do it continuously. So in the definition, it said intentional and continuous. So it's something that you have to keep doing, right? You're always working on it. It's a process. It's a process. So, okay, so now You join Toastmasters if it's public speaking. And then you continuously do it. And then you seek feedback. Okay, well, how am I doing? That's the best way to know where you are, what people think of you, what do they, because we always have our own thoughts of how we are or how we are perceived, but it's always best to ask someone else. When you see me, what comes to mind? What do you believe I'm great at? So this would be another way of making sure that what you're working on is actually working. Does that make sense? So yes, seeking out feedback. Okay, how am I doing? And I know in Toastmasters, when you do get up and speak, there are other moderators, other people who are listening to your speech, and they are giving you positive affirmations. They're giving you areas that you could possibly improve upon. Okay, so they're listening for maybe grammatical errors or the way you order it or how you're moving around up on the stage. So if you are talking about growth, it's about learning more. It's about getting better. It's about improving self. Okay, so after that, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. So once you get the feedback, you have to be able to face those challenges. Not everything is going to come easy. So you have to accept that. And then you have to push through. You have to push through those challenges. So they're going to give you areas to work on. And it may not come overnight. It will be a continual process of an area that you need to work on. And it doesn't have to be public speaking. What else can it be? It could be math. It could be listening. Everyone's not a good listener. I know that sometimes after my workouts, I'll hang around after the gym workout and speak to my friends, and we'll be talking, great conversation. And I find myself cutting her off. Okay, so again, being self-aware, knowing areas that you need to work on, improve upon. And so I immediately, once I catch it, be like, I am so sorry. I know I interrupted you. I'm working on it. So it's nothing to be ashamed about, because no one here in this world, on this earth, is perfect. No one is perfect. There's always room for improvement. So not just speaking, maybe listening. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? And then being mindful and connecting with others. Because whatever you're improving upon, it shouldn't just be for self. It should be how you are impacting the world. Everything that you are working on, you're put on this earth for a reason. So it's best to make sure that what you are doing is positively received outside of yourself. And everyone's not going to receive you. Please don't misunderstand me, but it should be for the betterment of someone else besides just yourself. Okay? And then once you find it and you get in the groove, you may need to tweak it. You have to be able and be comfortable making tweaks, making adjustments. Public speaking. I wouldn't speak the same on stage as I would in corporate America or at home. If you cuss at home, you're not going to want to cuss on stage. Some people do, but I'm just saying as an example, right? So personal growth is so important, because what you don't want to be is stagnant. You don't want to just be the same person that you were 3 years ago, 5 years ago, even 6 months ago or a year ago. What I have done, actually, social media will really tell you how far you come. At least it has for me. So if I'm on my personal Instagram page and I scroll all the way to the bottom, I can see my growth. I can see when I was working in corporate America. I could see when I was doing training and having meetings in the boardroom. I was conducting those. I can see where I entered reselling because I love a bargain, right? And then at the same time, I'm spreading motivational messages, which I still do. I'm still doing. So this is like the evolution. It's an evolution. And now I'm podcasting. So there's growth, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in your professional life. It can also be in your personal life. Now, if you think back to what I said earlier, I said there were 5 areas of personal growth. And I said the 6th one was professional, and how I didn't think professional growth should be included or a separate category, because it's all connected, right? But then I just broke it out. So maybe the author of that article was accurate. Okay. You got to give credit where credit's due. So yes, but then you have to go through and list it individually, like relationships. Maybe not. But these are all steps and ways to identify, okay, where do I need to grow? Why do I believe I need to grow? How do I plan to get there? What is my plan of attack? What will I experience once I'm in that phase of growth? There's going to be correction. There's going to be adjustment. There's going to be feedback. And then once you have it, you're always going to need to tune it up, right? Just like a car, you're going to need to tune it up, making sure it's purring just right. Now, when I looked up stagnation, the Oxford Dictionary says that it's the state of not flowing or not moving. The state of not flowing or not moving. So if you're scrolling back and you're doing the same thing, you have the same mindset. And like I said, it's not just professionally, it could be the mindset. It could be physical. Right? You have to reflect, and you have to have a plan of action. You have to be self-aware, and you have to go for it. You have to go for it. As I was researching this topic, and then I came across where it said that personal growth is intentional and continuous, it had me think about, like, does growth have to be intentional? Does it have to be? And so I researched, and then I came across an article by John C. Maxwell, by his Maxwell Leadership business or organization. And I really like listening to him on YouTube. And he has an article that's titled "The Difference Between Accidental and Intentional Growth." And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so glad I looked at this, because this other definition is saying intentional when it really doesn't have to be accidental. Okay. And so when I read this article, what he's saying is that you are either growing by choice or by chance. Now that's postable. You are either growing by choice or by chance. So by choice is what I'm saying is when you actually identify something that you want to work on, and you're intentional with improving upon that said thing. By chance, that could be that when I read the article, it is basically referring to maybe like an accident, like an actual accident. Like, let's say you get in a car accident, and now you have to learn to write with your left hand instead of your right. You're normally a right-handed. Now you have to write with the left hand. So that wasn't intentional. That was accidental. That's not something that you had planned on working on. That wasn't something that crossed your mind, but it's because you were put in this specific scenario, circumstance, this random occurrence, that you are now forced to learn how to write with your left hand. So when I read that, I was just really awed. Like, okay, I agree with you. Not all personal growth is going to be intentional. And I thought that, but I couldn't really come up with it. So in the article, he says that it's either going to be passive or active. So active is when you're intentional with the growth, And passive is when it just happens. Something that you have to make an adjustment for. It kind of threw you off. Just like having a daughter, right? I had a daughter and all of a sudden they've all had full heads of hair. So now I have to learn how to do hair. My parents told me all the time that, you didn't play with dolls when you were younger. I don't know how you're going to manage this. So it's something that I had to learn how to do hair. I had to go and sit with cousins and learn how to braid good braids. I knew how to do the 3-part, but I didn't know how to do the ones that would actually stay for a week or whatever, So that was something that was passive for me. I didn't really intend on it, but it was something that I needed to learn. And the only reason why I learned is because I ended up having girls. Okay. So accidental may not be what you wanted or what you planned, but it's something that is necessary. So now that you have understood exactly how to go about growing in those personal areas, let's talk about what are the options? What are the options for growth? So when we're speaking about mental, that's like our mind, like reading books. Like I've joined a morning meetup, and we all do a survey. We all pick a book, and whichever one that gets the most votes, that's the book that we end up reading for, let's say, a month or 3 weeks. And so reading has really given me a lot of knowledge. It's taken me places where I haven't gone, but someone else has, and it makes me think about different things. Okay, so reading books, taking classes, YouTube. Like I said, I found John Maxwell on YouTube, and I love listening to him and learning from him and hearing his stories and how it's relatable. Okay, so always just refreshing and renewing my mind. Mentally, it could be meditation. Okay, it could be learning new skills. Like I would love to go and do the this is not mental, actually, this is more physical, but I guess it's learning. So number one, I wish I would have took up sewing so I could make my own outfits. Now I don't think I'm going to get to that. That's not like at the top of my list, but I would like to do like the sculpturing. So that's something. So taking on different activities. If you like art, take some classes in it. That is personal growth. That is adding to your personal resume, your personal knowledge base. Okay? Okay, let's talk about emotional. Emotional, you may want to go to counseling, or you may need quiet time. I know for me, I need quiet time. I can regroup. That's how I reactivate. I relax. Okay? Emotional. Sometimes, I don't know, depending on what you've gone through, maybe you need cry time. Do you need to cry? Do you need counseling? Do you need to vent to someone? Do you need emotional support with someone? And emotional could go with spiritual, the spiritual area. Maybe you need to pray more. So that's when the spiritual aspect comes in. Maybe you need to do Bible studies if you're a believer, or meditation, or go sit with nature, go sit in the creation. Like that gives me so much energy to sit outside. And I'll be honest, I haven't done that in a while and need to. I really want to go swimming. But just being in that nature, being in water, listening to the birds, listening to creation and being in awe of it. Okay? Physically. Growing physically is building your muscles. So exercise, eating healthy, going to sleep. Everybody can't sleep, and that's one thing that I can do. I'm not getting enough of this week that has passed, but making sure that we're getting enough sleep, making sure we're getting enough exercise and sunlight and water and fruits and vegetables, just eating healthy, fresh air. These are all areas that are considered personal growth. And if we want to add the professional aspect into it, yes. What are you learning more at work? Are you taking more on, or is this all you want? Do you just want to know this? Or are you going professional? Or it doesn't even have to be at work. It could be what you do outside of work. What are you learning? What are you adding? What programs are you adding to your knowledge base? What books are you reading to learn? Are you taking any classes? And so, like I said, the professional kind of weeds in to the, which area was it? The mental, because you're increasing your knowledge by me just saying reading more. I'm saying that on a professional aspect, but that's still mental. That's why I said the sixth aspect isn't really necessary, because it's already included in the others. Being social, networking, being mindful with your coworkers, being understanding. So these are all ways that we can be improving These are all ways that we can be improving ourselves. And guess what? When we improve ourselves, we are improving our environment. When I study emotional intelligence, or I read a book by Robert Greene, that helps me work with other people in the workplace, which improves the environment. So when you better yourself, it permeates throughout. And I know I say that all the time, but that's the whole purpose of KimUnity Solutions. It's about creating practical and unifying solutions. These are all practical and unifying solutions that not only helps you personally, but it helps everyone around you. Everyone else benefits because you are improving. Now, what happens when you are growing and someone that's close to you is not, or someone in the workplace is not? Because believe me when I tell you, you could be doing all the growth that your heart desires, and you could be, scaling up. But when you're in the workplace and you're with these coworkers, they don't want to see that. You may get challenged because of that. So that's something that you have to be aware of, and you have to make sure that you're not kept in this box. You are free to move however and whenever. So like I said, in those steps, there is going to be adjustments that need to be made. There are going to be tweaks. You may outgrow your environment. You may outgrow your relationships. There's a whole lot that you may outgrow, and you're going to have to make those adjustments, because they don't have to come with you, but you don't have to stay with them. Does that make sense? You don't have to stay at that job. You have gained all these skills. Now you're more qualified than your senior or your manager or whoever, your supervisor. But when that position comes available, you are not getting it. You don't have to stay there. When you are in a relationship and you're doing all this growth, it's always best to bring them with you. How is it that you're reading all these books, but the person next to you isn't? How is the communication going to be? Are you still going to be relatable? Are they still going to be relatable? Will there be jealousy? Will there be some kind of uncomfortableness? So these are things that you have to think about. So it's always best to grow together. But if you can't, don't stagnate or stunt your own growth. That's one thing you don't want to do. That is not an option. That is not an option. So I hope you all are listening. I hope you all are reflecting back into your own situations and your own circumstances. I know I've spoken about my public speaking and areas that I want to work on, and me going to the gym. That's my physical improvement, or my emotional is praying more and studying my Bible more, or being in nature, listening to the birds. When I'm working, I have my window open and I can see the butterflies, and I can see the birds, and I can see the squirrels, and just being in awe of that being their environment, and how they are always busy and doing something. They're not stagnant. You should not be stagnant. We should not be stagnant. I hope you all are taking this in. I hope I have made you think about some things, or inspired you to grow in an area that you haven't thought of. Or maybe share this message with someone who you think would be interested in growing. You can't make anyone grow. You cannot make anyone grow. But you can share this message if they are welcoming. That's where you have to be mindful, is would they like this? That you don't want to be aggressive with it or pushy, because that's a turn off. So adjustments, there's always that balance. There's always that balance. So what I would like for you all to do, if you have not done it lately, scroll through your timeline, because sometimes we can get caught up into what we have going on and all the pressures we have going on, and the challenges that we currently have going on, that we forget we've made progress. We have grown. We have grown. We're just at another level. And so now we're facing different challenges. But when you scroll back, you'll see how far you've come. Oh, I don't think like this anymore. Or, oh, I'm not attracted to this anymore. This doesn't faze me. I could care less about the gossip. That's growth. That is emotional growth. That is mental growth. That is spiritual growth. I would love for you all to comment and let me know how you have grown. What you didn't think about, but now you have. Give yourself some credit. Sometimes we don't do that enough. Give yourself credit. Give yourself grace. And we all can't work on everything at the same time. And it doesn't have to be a major step, because a major step may mean that you won't commit to it. It won't be consistent. It won't be continuous. Remember, I told you that the definition is intentional and continuous process. Yes, there will be times when there is accidental growth, when maybe someone in your family has had maybe an accident, and now you have to take more care of them or care for them differently, right? Or even having someone move in, and so now you have to do or learn other things to help take care of them or make them feel welcome. Maybe it's learn a new language if you're taking someone into your home. It's not what you planned on, but it's something that's necessary. Okay? So please think of these things. It would be great if we all could grow with someone else. So if you could share this message with a coworker or with a spouse or a loved one, so that they each can individually impact someone else. This is how we create a better space, a better environment, and a better world. We all can do better. We all can do better. Personal growth is important. What I have learned from personal growth is that it stretches you, it challenges you, and you can see how far you've come. Like, because you took that first step of being self-aware and seeing where you need to work on, and then you take steps to grow, you can see the difference. Just like right now with this podcast. I can see the difference. Am I perfect? No, I never will be perfect, but I'm better than when I started. It teaches me resilience, and I'm continuously doing it. This is not my first episode. So I will get better in time. I will get better in practice, and so will you. Okay? Another way that personal growth is important is that it can improve your relationships. It can improve your confidence. And like I said in the professional realm, that as you are taking these steps for as you're taking these steps for personal growth, and let's say you get a better job, you are now improving your quality of life. So personal growth, it elevates you. And it may not be immediate. It is a process. So please keep that in mind. I hope you all have enjoyed this episode. I know I have. I love speaking with you all. I love learning with you. I love doing all of this research so that I can take it in and I can see, okay, I have been growing. Like, that is the whole reason why I picked this topic. It's because I see my personal growth. I spoke to my father the other day. He said, "You're really going for it, aren't you?" So the fact that not only am I trying, and I believe I am, it's being seen from outside. He said, "Oh, when you go for something, you really go for it." I'm trying, Dad. I'm trying. So it's effort. Effort. That is where intentionality comes from. Don't let it be by accident, because accidental, you can quit at any time. You're not invested in it. It's random. You don't really feel the urge or the need or the importance of it. But when it is intentional, and when you're really passionate about doing better, you guys, I don't know what's next, but I will be ready. I want to be ready. And I am enjoying the process. And I told myself, I said, it's not going to be perfect. And it's not going to be as fast as I want it. But if I do a little bit each time, if I get better each time, if I listen to it and see where I can improve on it and do better each time, that's what counts. That's going to take me to the next level. And you never know what's waiting for you. I'm doing all this now. I have my own intentions now of what I'm doing it, but you never know what you're doing now is preparing you for. You have no idea what lies and is waiting for you right now. So I just encourage you all. I hope I'm inspiring you all to stay on the grind. And it doesn't have to be a stressful feeling. It doesn't have to be a stressful process. Make a plan. Make a plan. Again, I know I've closed it out already, but thank you for tuning in. I am Kim the SME. As always, I am only speaking from my experience. SME. Speaking from my experience. And that's something that I didn't do previously. This is my personal growth. This is my personal growth. Speaking is not something that I was doing before. Like I said, I was writing. And now I am speaking. If you enjoyed this episode, please tune in to the prior episodes available on all major platforms. Please go to our website, KimUnity Solutions, and buy some of our merchandise, some of our shirts. We have cups. And just know that this K is the symbol of unity. KimUnity. Kim, karma, intuition, mindfulness. That is the path to unity. Treat people how you want to be treated. Listen to your intuition. It is your guide. And be mindful. Extend grace. Extend empathy. Be understanding. If we all did that, we all would be spreading love and spreading light to everyone around us. Y'all have a blessed one. Be blessed.